William J. Devine Golf Course, also known as Franklin Park, is located in Dorchester, Massachusetts. The course originally opened in 1896 when Willie Campbell, the head pro at the country club, designed the first 9 holes. It is the second oldest public course in the United States behind Van Cortlandt in the Bronx. Donna Ross redesigned and expanded the course to 18 holes in 1922. The 2024 rates to play Franklin Park are $46 from Monday to Thursday for a Boston resident. A non-resident pays $55. On the weekends from Friday to Sunday, a Boston resident pays $55 and a non-resident pays $62. A golf cart will run you $22 extra for 18 holes. Franklin Park is a par 70. The blue tees measure 6,013 yards and the white tees measure 5,688 yards. For the most part, Franklin Park is a golf course that is right in front of you. It's not terribly long, but offers the choice of driver if you want, because there's plenty of space to hit the ball. But laying back with a hybrid or long iron is also completely doable. There's so much in this course that I enjoyed. The subtleties of how the greens are shaped make it tricky to hit certain shots close. I found myself hitting approaches away from spots and then walking to the green and realizing the spot I was afraid of is the spot I should have aimed for. But Ross scares you off with bunkers and visual trickery. Standing on the practice green at Franklin Park and looking out on the course highlights so much of what is great about the course. The rolling open land is inviting and playable, while providing a challenge due to the uphill and downhill shots. There aren't many places where you can lose a ball throughout the round. Mark Mungem has done an excellent job chipping away at projects over the years. This year, they just redid the 4th tee box and are also currently sprucing up and redoing the bunkers and the grass near the 7th green, which also abuts the 16th green and the 17th tee box. I also love the public course energy at Franklin Park. People walk and ride their bikes along the paths or on the edge of the course. Some people cut through the golf course to get to their home or to work. There's a playground on the edge of the 9th hole that is usually busy with parties, especially on the weekends. I know there are stories about unsavory characters and maybe safety issues, but I have never experienced anything on the course or in the parking lot when I've played Franklin Park. I think one thing about Franklin Park that is a downside is it gets a little bit scruffy around the edges, especially compared to George Wright. It sometimes feels like Franklin Park is the forgotten sibling between the two city-owned courses. I also think while the greens do have their subtleties, especially in approach shots and where you want to try to hit them, once you're putting them, once you're kind of around them chipping, they are a little bit mundane as a set. There are some interesting ones, in particular 15 and 12 is pretty diabolical if you get in the wrong spot. But overall, they're not very challenging as far as trying to get down in 2 from a lot of places. If you hit the green, you're likely going to have a 2-putt. My favorite hole at Franklin Park is the 3rd hole. While the 12th hole is maybe the easy answer considering some of the history behind it and Bobby Jones using it as his practice hole because he believed it was one of the best par 4s in the country while he was a law student at Harvard. That's where he would go and practice and play that hole over and over again. It is probably the hardest hole on the course, one of the hardest holes maybe in the state. But I find the 3rd hole very charming just as far as the tee shot. The yardage it measures 421 yards from the back tee boxes. And I love where that tee box is set. It is right on the road. There's people usually walking by. You might have a little gallery. It is a hard tee shot as far as picking the right line. There's a big hill with some fescue that runs away from the player, but if you don't hit the ball far enough off the tee and you miss it a little right, you're either hoping you find your ball or hoping you get a good lie and you can just kind of chop it out. If you do pick the right line and you hit a good tee shot, you are treated to one of the better approach shots on the golf course, in my opinion. You're hitting uphill to a 2-tiered green, and it's this is probably one of the greens that is hard to 2-putt if you end up on the wrong tier, especially if you're above the hole. And then when you get up to that green, the sight lines and the views from up there are some of the best on the course. You can see the 4th green, which is the par 3 right after. You can see the 5th green. You can see a lot of 16 and 15 as you work your way, and 14 as you work your way around the golf course. That's the hole I really enjoy playing the most. 12 is obviously a very close second as far as just a really good hole, but my favorite, the one I enjoy playing, the one that kind of gives me a thrill, is always the third hole at Franklin Park. We are very fortunate to have two such excellent options in the Boston city limits to play public golf. Franklin Park is a wonderful walk. It's a golf course that anyone can play as far as the challenge. If you pick the right tee boxes, you're not going to lose a lot of golf balls. It offers just enough challenge for every type of player. And I would recommend, whether you're from Boston or whether you're from visiting, to play Franklin Park. Enjoy the walk, enjoy the history, enjoy the feel of a public golf course in Boston.